Hey friends, Shay here. So I am here to kind of film like a mid-month wrap-up situation. I was vlogging, but the vlog ended up turning out really awful, and I'm not going to subject you guys to that. But I figured you would still want to know what I've been reading, so I'm going to sit and kind of briefly at least talk about the things that I have been reading, because I feel like that is the most fair in this situation since I scrapped the vlog. So we're going to start with the books that I've read so far in the month of October, and then we'll talk about the manga that I've read. This is all going to go through from like a couple of days ago upon filming. What day is today? I'm losing track of days, y'all. Today's the 20th, so it'll be from like the 17th or 18th of October, so a couple extra days, because I drew up this list a few days ago. So let's go ahead and dive in. So the first book we're going to talk about is The House Witch Volume 3. So this is the final book in the House Witch trilogy. I am really pleased with how this series ended and the fact that it is not exactly over. Battery's going to die. Forgot to change it. Be right back. All right, let's try this again. So now that we're back with a fresh battery, so The House Witch Volume 3. I'm really happy with how this concluded. I had a wonderful time with this series. I found out that there's more written in this world, and so I decided to continue reading in this world. So the next book that I read was The Princess of Potential, again by Doesnt. So in this one, we're following the daughter of the king and queen of this land. We do follow our main characters cursorily of the House Witch, our main couple. We're following their children as they get to know the princess. And it's really fun. I really enjoyed this one. And we also see her falling in love with the king of the country of the major conflict in the previous House Witch series. So this was really fun. Again, I'm really enjoying this world. I will continue to read from this world as long as Doesnt wants to write in this world. This is a Canadian author, if you were unaware, by the way. And this is kind of on that cozy fantasy kind of realm, but the stakes are a little bit higher than you'll find in a lot of other cozy fantasies. So if you like something with a little more plot than you've seen in a lot of cozies, this might work really well for you. So in The House Witch, we're primarily following this man who is a very Howl of Howl's Moving Castle-esque kind of man who is a house witch, meaning that his powers work within his home, but outside of what he considers his home, he has zero magical power, essentially. So it's really interesting. I've really enjoyed it, and I would continue to recommend this series and this world to anyone who enjoys a good, solid, low-stakes fantasy. Because I would say that compared to a high fantasy, these are definitely low stakes, but there are stakes. So there is that, and I really just enjoy it. I gave both of these 5 stars. I would definitely recommend checking them out. The next one we're going to talk about here is Woven by Gold. This is the second book following Bonded by Thorns. Izzy and I have been buddy reading these. I am literally obsessed with this series. The next book doesn't come out till December. We're both a little sad about it, can't lie. But we definitely had a fantastic time buddy reading this. This is a Beauty and the Beast inspired Why Choose, involving the 4 seasonal realms of the Fae and their princes and a curse, and a 5th dark prince is entering the chat, and we're here for it. Like, that's all. I feel like the less you know going in, the more you'll enjoy. So I tell you the basics and tell you to go enjoy the series, because I'm glad I knew as little as I did going into this. So again, thanks to Izzy for putting me onto the series, because, man, we've really been enjoying our time with it. The next one I have here is a historical fiction that I finally got around to reading, and that is Wayward by, I believe it's Amelia Hart. In this one, we're following 3 different women who are classified as witches for various reasons, and in 3 different timelines. So this one was very middle of the road for me. I'm giving it 3 stars. I can see why people love it. I can see why people don't like it at all. For me, I'm kind of indifferent at the end of the day when it comes to this one. I appreciated what was trying to happen here. This definitely talks about how awful men and the patriarchy are. So if you're looking for that kind of historical fiction, this is definitely going to be a good fit for you. I was hoping for a better witchy feel, witchy vibe to it. Didn't quite get as much as I was hoping for in this one. But again, I was left just kind of in the middle about it. I would pick up more from Amelia Hart in future because her writing style wasn't offensive or anything. I just think this particular story didn't quite work for me. This was their debut as far as I'm aware. So I would definitely try from this author again. And again, I could see why people love it and I could see why people don't. I saw this as a potential for the Historical Fiction Goodreads Choice Awards later in the year, so I thought I'd kind of get on top of some of these and get to reading them. And this one just didn't quite work how I hoped. Along those same lines, I have the London Seance Society. Again, I'm kind of at the end of the day left in the middle at a 3-star, where I can see why people love it and I can see why people don't like it at all. And I'm kind of left indifferent in the middle on this one. Again, I was hoping for a better witchy vibe from it, which is kind of why I had been waiting till the fall to read these. It wasn't bad. I was just left a little disappointed. This one's more like a 3.5, I would say. I enjoyed this one a little bit more than I enjoyed Wayward. And Wayward might have been just the audio narration. You had 3 different women narrating it, so it might have just been too much for me. But London Seance Society, I was just kind of left indifferent again by the middle. So I would say like 3.5, not more than that for sure. I was a little let down. I'm really kind of sad about it. I wanted more from it. Essentially, we're following this woman whose sister is gone and passed away, and she wants to reconnect with her. So she connects with this woman who performs seances that her sister was apprenticing with, and there's more going on. It was fine. Again, I wanted a little more from it. I was just kind of left a little bored and indifferent by it. So I'm really sad that that didn't quite work, but there we are. Moving on to something I did love was King of Pride by Anna Wong. I finally got around to reading this one, or should I say listening to it, because Anna Wong I prefer to listen than read. I adored it. Kai is the bookish king that we all need. His wanting to keep her a secret was rough for me, but at the same time, because of her work, I understood. Like, it all made sense, but it doesn't mean I liked it, if that makes sense. That's the only complaint I really had, but I really liked their dynamic. I liked the way the almost forbidden element added fuel to their fire, you could say. And I just had a good time with it. I usually have a good time with Anna Wong's, but King of Pride, I like it slightly better than King of Wrath. I haven't read King of Greed yet, but I really enjoyed King of Pride. Talking to friends, I'm thinking King of Pride is probably going to be my favorite of this series at this point, but we will see once I actually read King of Greed. I loved King of Wrath, though, so don't get me wrong. I do think this more sins-related series will hit better for most people than the Twisted series did. So if there were some things in the Twisted series you didn't enjoy, still try this series, even though they are kind of interconnected. Okay, next I have an Evie Mitchell. This is the second Evie Mitchell I've ever read, and this is Love Flushed. This is about a woman with Crohn's disease who essentially makes a toilet paper company because she was left stranded with horrible stuff multiple times. And so she decided to take matters into her own hands. And this is a second chance romance with the man who left her standing at their elopement for reasons outside of his control. When you hear the noble reasons why he wasn't able to show up, it makes a lot more sense. I still hate that that was the choice, but at the same time, the way they come back together is beautiful. And he has a solid and serious grovel with her and is so good to her that by the end, you're like, okay, you two belong together. I'm good with this. So I would definitely recommend this. Solid 4 stars, maybe 4.5. I really enjoy Evie Mitchell's writing, and I love that she embraces her curvy heroines, and I just have a really good time reading Evie Mitchell's. So if you have not read Evie Mitchell, do so. She's an Australian author. She's amazing. The next one I have here is The Faes Bride. I picked this one up during Stuff Your Kindle Day, so I got this one for free, and I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give it like a 3.5 stars. There were some things that were a little stilted, and the back and forth was a little overdrawn in my opinion. I think there's some other things we could have added to the story to add different kinds of conflicts that would have worked a little better for me, but I ended up really enjoying it. I thought it was really fun. I do plan on reading the sequel that's following our heroine's younger sister and the warlock best friend of our Fae. Like, I'm here for that story because I think that's going to be right up my alley. I think these ones aren't on KU, but they're like $2 or $3 to buy. So I'm probably just going to buy the second one. But yes, definitely enjoyed it enough to pick up the sequel. So that should tell you something. But I would recommend this. I'm going to talk about it more in a specific Stuff Your Kindle video that I'll be doing. We pushed it back a little bit, so you'll see it in November. And then the other two books that I've read so far are the two Dawn May Chinese light novel buddy reads I've done with Lindsay. So first up we have Heaven Official's Blessing Volume 7. Obviously I cried. I love these two so very much. I would die for them. Like, I love them so much. I care about fictional characters too much, some people would say. But I really enjoyed this 7th installment. I know we only have one more. I think that's mostly going to be extra stories and maybe a chapter of the main story because we kind of wrapped things up in this 7th volume. But I just love them. It's so, so good. And then The Husky and His White Cat Shizun. By the way, I gave that 5 stars. I'm giving this one 5 stars. I stopped reading this. This was gut-wrenching. It hurt so hard. It hurt so hard. Oh my gosh. I had heard that this author was pretty brutal sometimes, but man, it hurt. It hurt hard. But again, because it's a 3rd volume, I can't say too much other than I really enjoy The Husky and His White Cat Shizun and the way everything has played out within the series. So I would highly recommend it if you haven't read it yet. All right. That is it for the books. Let's dive into the manga. So the first one I'm going to talk about is I Cant Refuse S Volume 1. I've done a dedicated video to this one, so I'm just going to point you towards that rather than spending a ton of time here. This is a new steamship title, and I really enjoyed this one. I'm definitely going to be continuing. This one's only going to be 6 volumes, so I'll most likely be in it for the long haul. But man, I really enjoyed the setup of this one. I liked the way the sexual encounters were going, and I would definitely recommend picking this one up. It's definitely one of the better steamships that I've read, and I've read them all thus far. Definitely high on my steamship love list. The next one I have here is the 3rd volume of Hi, I'm a Witch, and My Crush Wants Me to Make a Love Potion. So we get some reveals in this particular volume that worked really well for me, and I'm very, very excited to see what else is to come in this series. Our knight is able to share his feelings with our witch a little bit more, and that makes me really, really happy. It's really cute. I hate that these are slow to release, but they're definitely worth it when they come in. So if you want to just wait till it's done, you're welcome to do that, but I still enjoy each installment as it comes in. We did get 2 installments this year, which was nice. The next one I have here is Gap Papa Volume 3. Again, this is a really cute color slice of life, featuring this man who everybody has a crush on at work, but he is happily devoted to his wife and daughter at home, and he just wants to spend all of his time at home with his family, and they are so cute. I love and adore this series. It is so sweet. One of my favorite slice of life joseis right now. And yes, would definitely recommend Gap Papa to anybody because this is just really sweet and really cute. The daughter is really cute too, and I just have the best time with this one. So if you're looking for just a quick read, slice of life, something cute, something adult josei, you know, I would definitely recommend trying this one out. Alrighty, the next one I have here is volumes 4 and 5 of The Duke of Death and His Maid. I'm slowly working my way through catching up with this one. I still really enjoy it. Essentially, we have a boy who is cursed to kill anything that his hands touch, and his maid who has the biggest crush on him, and we find out why in, I believe it's volume 5, that she has such a big crush on him, and it's really sweet. I really like their dynamic. It is on that ecchi side of things, which I didn't think I would enjoy, but I've ended up really enjoying this particular series and would definitely recommend. So I've also read What He Who Doesn't Believe in Fate Says. I technically read it last month, but I forgot to count it. So we're going to talk about it here. Essentially, this is about a guy who can see the red string of fate, and he wants his to attach to a particular coworker of his, but it keeps not attaching, and he's like, but I don't want to know. And then towards the end of this volume, we see who she's attached to and who he's attached to. And he doesn't like it, so I think he's going to try to take matters into his own hands. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this one continues to play out. I do have volume 2, I just haven't gotten around to reading it yet, so I'm very excited to continue. Next, I have Ladies on Top volume 4. You all know how much I love Ladies on Top, and the conflict that was happening in volume 3 is quickly resolved here in volume 4. I really enjoyed how this worked out. Pegging actually happens in this particular volume. I'm here for it. We've got 2 more volumes of this particular series. I'm so excited to finish this one out. I am really loving and enjoying it and would definitely recommend Ladies on Top because I love all of the discussions it's having about sexual relationships and how it can look outside of the norm to a lot of people. And I just really appreciate the conversations happening. And yes forever. We want more manga like this, please and thank you. Next, I finally got around to reading Reincarnated, which spells Doom Volume 2. I really enjoyed the first installment, and I really like how the second installment went as well. I really enjoyed the series. We basically have this woman who has a magical power that is very destructive. And so she has always been afraid of her power, but she meets this man and he has his own secrets, but is able to help her kind of channel her magic. And the things that happened in volume 1 are resolved within this volume, and I really enjoyed it and would definitely recommend it. The next one I have here is Kowloon Generic Romance volume 5. You all know how much I love Kowloon. I don't have to tell you that. Volume 5 is absolutely fantastic. Would 10 out of 10 recommend continuing on with the series. This series continues to get twisty and turny, and I'm starting to see things, and maybe I'm reading more into it than I should, but I'm starting to see things that I didn't see initially in the beginning, and now I have more questions, but they're just theories at this point, so I'm not going to voice them out loud because they would also be spoilery. So with that said, I would definitely recommend continuing on with this series because it is so good. So good. And then last but not least for this video, we're going to talk about Nicola Traveling Around the Demon's World Volume 4. This is the final volume of this series. I love Nicola Traveling Around the Demon's World. It is so sweet. It is so cute. This is a really cute 4-volume series about a little girl who ends up in the demon's world looking for her mother. And it is about her journey with the demon that finds her, Simon, and the other friends that she makes along the way. And we get to see all of our favorite friends throughout the course of this last volume. One thing in the art style is that it's done in a brown ink rather than a black, and that really just adds to the coziness and the softness of this series. So if you have not gotten around to reading this one yet, I highly recommend it. It's a short 4-volume series. Check it out from a library if you can, if you're not interested in picking it up yourself or you're out of room, but I do recommend reading it because it is so sweet and so cute. So with that said, that is everything for this video. That is everything that I have read in the last little while. I have continued reading. There is more to talk about, but we're going to save that for a video towards the end of the month. So with that said, thank you so much for watching this video. If you're here just because you love me, leave me, what kind of an emoji are we going to do today? I don't know. I am confused. Let's do like a wedding ring situation. So some sort of ring for Gap Papa. That's what we'll do for this particular one. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. It's been raining for days now. Been running like a child. Can't feel the cold. Well, I'm lost here with you. Lost in the woods. Lost as I should.